All right, y'all, here we go. Greg's off work. What are we doing?
Blueberry vanilla jelly.
But we're gonna omit the vanilla, I think. Sorry, guys. Here. I forgot to open the video. Hey, y'all, I'm Chris. That was Greg. And this is It Worth It, y'all? And we are starting the Every Bit Counts challenge. And the first thing that we're gonna preserve today is the blueberry juice that we made a while back. We're gonna actually can that now. So we've got, let me turn you around, hold on. Oh, how do I do this? Okay. Woo, okay. We've got our jars clean. There's the juice. We've measured out 4 cups. Sugar. We have the Instant Pot that we are gonna water bath can in, and the jars are heating up. What's up? What did you, What does it say?
It's only lemon juice. Oh, vanilla bean. Never mind.
Yeah.
I told you I can't read. I can't see. Not read.
You want my glasses? All right, so is the lemon juice used for acid? Do we need that acid? That's what we need to figure out. Okay, y'all, so when we're obviously using Pomona's pectin. We always use Pomona's pectin. In this recipe, Greg's gonna read it real quick. We wanna figure out if we need the lemon juice for the acid level, because I don't know the acidity level of blueberries. So Greg's gonna read that. We're gonna use the Pomona's pectin. Most of these recipes, when you're using a berry, it's 1 cup of sugar to 4 cups of juice to 4 teaspoons of calcium water to 4 teaspoons of pectin. And that gels up nicely. Just don't double the recipes because it doesn't work. So that usually just gels up nicely. So it's 4 to 4 to 4 to 1. So, and that's pretty much the standard in the Pomona's pectin book so far that we found. Greg's just looking up to make sure that if we need the lemon juice. We have lemon juice. I just got to get it out of the refrigerator. Got it. And we are babysitting. And so we have an additional adult supervision with us. Tell everybody hi. Her name's Cupcake. She says, oh, you got a tail wag. She says hi. Adult supervision does not like the fact that we have assistants right now. Go ahead.
The simple classic raspberry jelly does not call for lemon juice.
Okay.
But the Korean apple jelly calls for lemon juice.
Okay, but so does blueberry.
That's it.
So let's go ahead and just do it because we want to make sure we've got our acid
Grape jelly calls for lemon
All right,
juice.
so it must be the blueberry. So we're
acid.
Yeah, so Greg's confirming that, yeah, we're going to go ahead and add the lemon juice.
Crab apple must have its own acid because regular apple jelly, lemon juice.
Lemon juice. Okay, so we're going to use the lemon juice. So, all right, we're going to get started here in a minute. Are you good with that, sir?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, we've got everything set up. I've got the 4 cups of blueberry juice that we steam juiced the other day, and I got 4 teaspoons of calcium water in here already. So we're gonna pour this in. Look how beautiful that is. Man, look at that coating. Jiminy. We're gonna continue to stain my counter. Do we put the lemon juice in now?
Yes.
Okay. So we're gonna do a 1/4 cup of lemon juice, and then we're gonna put this, get it heated up, come to a rolling boil. When that comes to a rolling boil, we'll go to the next step. On that to boil, we're gonna go ahead and see that's the pectin, that's the sugar. It tells you to go ahead and mix that in so whenever we get ready to pour it in, and like you've seen in other videos, this process goes real fast. So we're gonna mix this in real good so the sugar and the pectin are combined.
Okay, why are you making another batch? Why didn't you just make one big batch?
Oh, well, that's very easy. When you're using a pectin, whether it's, it doesn't matter if it's Pomona's pectin, Sure Gel, anything like that, 1 batch at a time, follow the directions. If you double a batch, for some reason, the pectin doesn't respond the same way when you double or triple. So 1 batch at a time. When we did the peach jelly the other day, didn't set up because I doubled the batch. Even using Pomona's pectin, it did not register as a jelly. And so we're going to use that as syrup. It's not a waste, or we could reprocess it and add more pectin in, but I really don't want to do that. So always, always one batch at a time. And any of the jelly books that you get, even with the canning Bible that I use, it says, if you're going to use a pectin, one batch at a time. So we're going to do this process 3 times. I'm setting up the second one. This guy still hasn't come to a boil yet. So this is for the second batch. And then if you look here, we've got enough for a 3rd batch. So one batch at a time, y'all, or you end up with a bunch of syrup and no jelly. Good question, Greg.
And how are you canning this today?
We're going to water bath can it. And we are going to use our very, very controversial method of using the Instant Pot. And like I've said before, we're not pressure canning it in the Instant Pot. We are just using it to water bath because I don't really want to pull out a 30-quart canner for 5 of these jars. So that's why. And Greg likes these jars way better because he likes wide mouth jars. And so these are actually, I know on the camera they may look like 4-ounce jars, but they're actually half pints. They're just wide mouth. So, and they're squatty. So I kind of like these better anyway. If we find more of these, we need to get these instead of the regular jelly jars.
To me, they fit in your refrigerator better.
Yeah, here, let me go grab a.
And they're a lot nicer when you're going at the bottom of the jar. You can get to it instead of the regular mouth.
Hang on, y'all. I'm digging in my. We got our next project that's taking up a bunch of space in my refrigerator. Do not show them this refrigerator. It is terrible. Okay. Here we go. This jar and this jar. This is your standard jelly jar, and this jar, this is the same volume. This is 8 ounces, and this is 8 ounces. So that's what we wanted to show you. This is the wide mouth. That's a regular mouth. We like these better.
And see if you turn the regular jar back up. See how you can, it's deep. You gotta get something long in there to get the end there. You can get every little drop of this deliciousness.
So, like usual, we are at a boil that we cannot stir away. And I've got to dump this way so you can see what we're doing. Just a teeny bit at a time. Stir this mixture in. We're going to keep adding this, and then we're going to keep stirring until it comes back to a boil. And we can't stir the boil out. And then, Greg, if you want to walk them over there and show them the jars that we're heating up the jars. We're actually heating up the jars in the Instant Pot right now. So those are, when we work with hot product, then we use hot water and hot jars. So everything is of the same or close temperature. And since we are using hot, very, very hot jelly, we've got to make sure those jars are good.
So what we'll do is we'll pull these jars out, then pour the hot jelly back into them and set them back into the boiling water.
And I want to show you guys a pro hack real quick. Pan over here, Greg. See these? These are, remember these like old school tongs? They don't sell anymore, but these were like the best tongs for like getting corn out of a big old pot. These work great. Why? Because they do not have a slot that will allow hot liquid. Like here's normal tongs, if I can get them out of the drawer. Come on, tongs. Like see the slots in there? Like if you picked up a jar and emptied it, that water would slide right back down that and hit you in the palm. These don't have that, so the water doesn't go anywhere. So get you a set of these. Whenever you get the kit, link in the description below of the kit that I like that's on Amazon. It has the jar lifter and it has this kind of tong, not this kind. This is way safer whenever you're pulling jars out of hot water. Oh, and come over here, Greg. We're at a boil. So this is a rolling boil, as usual. If you've watched any of our other videos, I cannot stir that boil away. And it's been going for about a minute to activate the, oh, and you can feel it. It's gone for about it goes for about a minute to activate the pectin and the calcium water. So there we go. It's so pretty. Look at the color. There she goes. All right, we'll bring you back in a minute whenever it's time to put it in the jars. All right, see y'all? See the water? No, I'm totally upside down. There is no water running over that thing. Now, if you used one of those tongs that has the channels, you'd have got a handful of boiling hot water, and that's no good. All right, time to fill them up. Now again, we're doing just like usual, hot on hot on hot, cold on cold on cold. So hot jars, hot liquid. And that's gonna be our canner. And I'm gonna strain through this because we've got floaties. There's nothing wrong with that, but I want it to be pretty. And we're gonna go 1/2 inch per the recipe, which is kind of that second little roundabout. I can't see. Yep, that's good. I'm gonna move that. Ow, ow, ow. Woo, everything's hot, which is good. Greg, you asked a really good question when we first started doing this about water bath canning. He was always like, why are, you know, he had been around with just, we do a bunch of pressure canning. And when we started processing these jellies, because that's what we wanted to put on the shelf, he's like, what's water bath canning? So I'm glad we're getting to do this now a little bit more. Because it is a different, it's the same process, but it just doesn't use pressure. Because you still have to create that vacuum underneath that lid to make this stuff shelf stable. Yeah, look at all the, here, look. That's what I'm catching. That's why I'm using the strainer. So this jelly's clear. Ooh, there's way too much in that one.
And I'll tell you what, folks, besides for canning this to eat later, these are great Christmas gifts.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we've made strawberry, we've made raspberry, black raspberry, now we're making...
I don't know if anybody's getting the black raspberry, I'm sorry.
Maybe not. Blueberry, but you make you enough, say make you an extra 6 jars, and now you can give them away as Christmas presents.
Okay. All right. We're gonna start us the jar that goes in the refrigerator right away jar right there with the extra. Because we're gonna do this 3 times. Now see, this is one of the screw ups. I poured the pectin in too fast. See it at the bottom? That should have been stirred in and it wasn't. So it'll still be okay. It just, I want you to see the good stuff and the bad stuff. And that just shows you that, I'll put this in here. That just shows you that I didn't stir it in all the way, or I dumped it in too fast. So that could cause issues, it could not. We're getting ready to find out. And then I need to reallocate some of this. So some of these have too much in them. So we're gonna reallocate this real quick first, because this needs to be a 1/2 inch headspace and these are not. It's already starting to set up. Do you see it?
Mm-hmm. So that's one thing I'm learning. If you underpour or overpour, just get your spoon out and even everything out to where you're what the book says.
Yeah, it's funny too, because Greg got to see firsthand a jar siphon. That was interesting, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Almost scary, actually, I think, when a jar siphons. Because it almost like explodes. It's really weird. Whoa. Look at that gelling already. We're gonna be fine. Look at that. Okay, I think these are good. Now, with all things sugar, we're gonna take our vinegar and I'm gonna use a washcloth. And we're gonna wipe the jars That way we get all the sticky off and we have good seals on our product. As soon as I can find a napkin. Okay. Remember, these suckers are hot. Please be careful. Yeah, see, that's got. See? Get it off. Ooh. Take your time. The Instant Pot is now rocking and rolling over there. I can hear it. All these are clean. Ouch. Oh.
And this is another pro tip from me, who's not a pro. So this is an amateur tip. Set all your stuff up before you even get started. So you're not running around looking for a lid or a ring. Prep work makes it a little bit easier.
Yes, it does. As per usual, we're gonna go finger tight, which means we put them on and just like that. Twist them till it quits. Don't crank down like this because you have to allow air to get out. So we like to just finger tight. That's all you need. The only purpose for this piece is to keep this on in the canning process. After the canning process is done, you don't need this piece anymore. Okay. Now we're putting jars in the Instant Pot. Here we go. You want to stay right there, babe.
I will.
We're gonna get all 5 of these. And if that water stays at a boil, we can start timing right away. If it doesn't, we've got to wait until it comes back up to a boil.
She looks like she might be staying.
Really? That's good. Okay, now 5 fit. But that was without rings. Oh, we did it. I want to let it a little bit, little bit more bubble. Yeah. Like it's boiling, or it's bubbling, but I don't know. I just feel like I want it to go a little more. What do you think?
You're the pro.
I don't know about that.
Another amateur tip is, like I was, you don't have to be so gentle with your jars when you're putting them back in there. They can take a little bit of rattling next to each other.
But not too much. All right, we're going to wash up and start the next round. Ready?
Ready.
Okay. All right, y'all, that whole jug, we used 12 pints of blueberries and we ended up with 15 half pints of blueberry jelly, and it's setting up beautifully. And so far, it looks like everything has sealed. And there went another one.
That looks pretty.
But you got a longer arm than I do.
Doesn't matter. I got a hurt arm.
You got a hurt arm? All right, y'all, that's it. We're done. 15 pints. That's the first thing on the Every Bit Counts challenge that we've got completed. And we thank you so much for hanging out with us. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.
Bye.
All right, hey y'all, we're back. This is the second thing we're working on for the Every Bit Counts challenge. I really have to work on saying that. Every Bit Counts challenge. Is that what it is? Every Bit Counts challenge? Yes, that's what it is. Put on by Three Rivers Homestead. We are going to lacto ferment. If you don't have this book, you need it. I'll link it down in the description below. This is the Art of Fermentation, is the Fermentation Bible. Get it if you like fermented food. I've gotten used to fermented food. Greg's coming around. I make this kefir cheese that's fermented that he absolutely loves. So we are going to try to expand that food palette, and we are going to lacto ferment cauliflower. We are going to use our sauerkraut pot to lacto ferment. So stick around. We're going to put all this together. It's really easy ingredients: salt, water, cauliflower, and we're going to chuck a couple peppers. Did I mention we were babysitting and have extra adult supervision? Apparently there's a bug outside making a noise, so she thinks she has to tell it off. You want to look at her? Look, what are you doing? You okay now? I guess she's fine now. Okay. Couple peppers, cauliflower, salt, water, this pot, and we're going to lacto ferment. So this is the first part of it. We got to check on it in about 5 to 7 days. So stick around. We're going to chop all this stuff up and show you what we do. All right, Greg thinks I'm crazy, but we're trying to get, and he's mic'd so he can comment. We're trying to get our flavor palettes to be more mature. So we're trying fermented things, and one thing we like is cauliflower. Greg makes an amazing roasted cauliflower. And so I was like, hey, we got these big old cauliflowers. Let's try something new and let's ferment them. So, real simple to set up. We're literally gonna throw the cauliflower in the sauerkraut crock pot, or the crock. And if you wanna look down in here, Greg, this is actually made for sauerkraut. See the lip here? We're gonna talk about this here in a minute and what we're gonna do. But we're literally just throwing cauliflower in here. We're also going to throw a couple peppers in there because we kind of think we want it spicy. Now I will say, and Greg, you can chime in on this, we do a fermented kefir cheese. And if you've never had fermented food before, it's got this twang to it.
Tang.
Tangy. You'd call it tang?
Twang is music. Tang is food.
Oh, sorry. Tang. I said twang. Anyways. He knows better than I. But it just has this unique flavor, and I think it is an acquired taste. I think it's not something you would be like, oh yeah, fermented food, da da da. It's acquired, and we're trying to acquire it. So very simple. Cauliflower's in the pot. This is our salt brine. So this is 4 cups of water, and so that's a quart, and so we put 3 tablespoons of kosher salt in here. So this may or may not be enough water, but we're going to start here. And do not use water from the tap. Use fermented water, distilled water or filtered water. Oh yeah, we're going to need another 4 cups. I'm also going to throw in here, this is the whey off of our kefir cheese. This actually helps jumpstart ferments. So we're going to toss a little bit of this in here too, like that much, because that's all it needs. That's why you save some of your whey when you're doing other things, because you can literally jumpstart this ferment to make the bacteria start breaking down and causing that lacto fermentation to start. So we're going to get some more water prepped and bring you back when it's time to put the weights on. Have all of the salt brine in here. If you want to come in here, Greg, and look. Now you'll notice that these cauliflower, if you push them down, they float to the top. So what we need to do is we need to put some weights in here. And this crock is amazing because it comes with weights that actually fit. So what we want to do is we want to get those weights in there and push that down. Why? Because when you lacto ferment, the biggest thing we want to do is cover up the produce with the brine. That way we don't get any mold. We want to try to get as many of those floaties in there as well. Let me try to get this in there. There we go. And you can see we can come in and get the floaties out as well. We'll work on that in a little bit. So there we go. Weights are in. All the big pieces. Can you see? Is my head out of the way? Yeah. All right. So we're going to go back in and get all these floaties out of here, because these will mildew and mold, and we don't want that. So we're going to get these pieces and just take them out. Okay. So next thing on the list is get the lid on. I want to show you how this lid works. It's really cool. So this is a water lock system. So we put water in here, You can see it fills up the little channel around the hole. Doesn't go in. That's why it's got this goofy little channel thing here. The lid that goes on has holes so the air doesn't get trapped. So when we put this in, there we go. Did you see the bubbles come out? Did you see that on film, Greg?
No.
So I'll do it again. When we put the lid on.
Yeah, right there.
Okay. So now that is sealed tight. Now why do we do it that way instead of put a really hard lid on there? Because as this starts to ferment, it's going to produce gas. And that gas has to go somewhere. So instead of putting it in a jar and locking down the lid and having to burp it every day, this does the burping for you. So you don't have to do it. So the next step we're going to do is in 5 to 7 days, we're going to open this up after we get all the floaties out of there. We're going to open this up and take a taste test and see if we like it. If we don't like it, if we want it to be a little more tang, not twang, then we leave it sit for a couple more days. So hopefully 5 days from now, we'll come back and show y'all what we think, and we'll open it up then and see if it tastes good enough to jar up and stick it in the fridge. All right, this is our checkup. Pull the weights out. Looks like cauliflower. It smells fermented, which some people might like that and some people might not. But I think I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna try that piece. Ooh, that's good. It's like a pickle. Ooh. Yeah. That's really good. It doesn't smell like it tastes. It definitely doesn't need any more. Woo! Man, it doesn't need any more time in the jar. We're gonna get this out. That's been sitting in brine for 7 days. Now I think I'm gonna pickle it in a curry pickle.
Hi, I'm Greg. And this is It Worth It, y'all? And this is day 3 of the Every Bit Counts challenge.
Yes.
And earlier, while we were doing things, I went out to the garden and I picked some peppers that were ready to be picked. And now I am going to pickle them. So first I will slice them into rings because I want them into rings so it'll make it easier to use them as an ingredient for stuff. Put them on sandwiches or, you know, just throw in a pan.
That's a great idea. And what type of peppers are these?
These are hot banana peppers. So I'm just going to cut the stem off and I'm going to put seeds and all in there because why not?
Yeah. Well, you want this hot anyway. What is that, about what, 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch? 1/2 inch slice? Yeah. 1/4 inch.
Something that looks it's a size that I can cook with.
Okay. Okay, we're calling this 1/4 inch.
Oh yeah, they're a little bit hot.
They are. You just tried one?
Mm-hmm.
I know. I can smell them from here. Now, what were you telling me about this? Like, this isn't a bad pepper. What did you say this was?
Sun skull.
Okay. So that's just something that happens when the pepper's exposed to, like, too much sunshine, or that it's too intense, or
too intense.
Well, and we've had like what, 107 real field days, which is, you know, that's.
And as you can see, like here, we will.
Oh, you cut that one? Oh yeah, ain't nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I'm glad you picked them because I might have chucked it away. What's the matter? Are you okay?
Yeah.
What's the matter? Your face is red. I told you all these are hot.
They weren't supposed to be hot.
They're hot. They're hot, dude.
Ooh, I bet you.
Oh, I don't even want to know. Man, you okay?
Yeah.
Just as a reminder, we're doing this for the Every Bit Counts challenge, and usually what happens is one of the rules is you try to preserve one thing a day. Well, today is August 2nd. We are completely busy tomorrow. I forgot, well, I didn't forget, we just ran out of time yesterday. So the blueberries were for the first, the cauliflowers for the second, and Greg is doing peppers for tomorrow because we have a lot of stuff to do tomorrow that does not include food preservation. So we're catching up. Like I said, trying to do 6 things a week. Probably going to be 5. So we're knocking 3 out because we have a minute. Sound good, Greg?
Yes, perfect.
He's just ready to be done because it's 10 o'clock at night. And he turns into a pumpkin at 9, so... But maybe that pepper helped spice him up. He'll be fine for another half hour.
Well, you know what would be swell is my banana milk.
We'll talk about banana milk later.
I guess so.
And no, it's not derogatory. He's actually talking about this thing of banana milk that's been in the refrigerator because he started drinking it. We started doing this. Actual banana milk, so do not take that the wrong way. Wow, you're in the home stretch. Oh yeah, I think you're definitely getting 2 half pints. I'm glad we picked half pints too because I think making sure that we don't waste them because we're not going to, we wouldn't use anything bigger.
We wouldn't make anything.
Yeah.
To need a pint or a quart, I mean.
Yeah, that's too much. Okay, where you at? Talk us through what you're doing.
All right, so I got them all sliced up. Now I'm just gonna start loading up the jar.
What's the headspace on this? 1/2 inch?
1/2 inch.
It seems to be pretty
So that seems
common
to be the nom.
for a pickle. How do you like these jars?
I love these jars.
Ooh, are we gonna need a 3rd one?
Because I may be the greatest slicer in the world, I got more out of it than I should have.
Yeah. I think we're gonna need a 3rd jar. All right, let me wash one up for you. Looks good. Say that. Okay, we're back. Oh yeah, that's okay. We'll still fill it up with brine. It'll be fine.
Okay, so now we can even it out a little bit so that when we put the brine in there,
This looks so good. Well, this is brine that we made. We made refrigerator pickles with this the other day.
Yeah.
And this was the brine that was left over. It smells really good. Just pour it in, babe. You got it. There you go. Now I would say split this in 3rds, and then if we need to top something off, we'll do a 1-to-1 on the vinegar. Looks good. All right, so let's go ahead and take that jar and we'll do 1-to-1 vinegar and water to top these off. We probably only need like a 1/2 cup. So I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get you some vinegar.
Okay, so we ran out of brine. So now I'm gonna put a 1-to-1 ratio of vinegar and water to top it off to make the rest of the brine.
So what are you gonna do? Like 2 ounces, and then we'll do 2 ounces.
I'll do 2 ounces here, and I'm looking at the measure.
Oh, the lines on the jar.
The line on the jar.
Got it. Okay. Do you want me to go fill some water up?
Please,
Okay.
ma'am.
All right, be right back.
Okay, so we got, that's our brine mix.
So that's your pro hack for this one. If you run out, like do your actual seasoned brine as evenly as you can, and then if you run out of brine, you can do a simple 1-to-1 with regular vinegar. Oh, Greg, you don't drink that. It's gross.
Okay, so now I'm gonna debubble, or
sorry, I'm throwing stuff. Go ahead.
Debubble, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
We usually use a chopstick, but since I got the spoon, I'm just going to use the back side of the spoon and
just do yourself a favor. Don't ever use a metal or don't use a knife, because you'll actually you have the potential to cause shards or cracks in the glass. So that's why we always use a chopstick, but this is fine.
So all you're doing is just trying to get air bubbles out.
And then we'll adjust the headspace if there's any big pockets that we missed. These look great.
See, I like this better than the whole
pepper.
Yeah. Because now, at least me, now if I look at this on in the pantry, I can be like, oh, yeah, I can open that up and
put it on a burger or hot dog or eggs. Hey.
Get down.
What are you doing? Excuse me. Go over there. You're supposed to be supervising, not participating. Go.
I mean, I'll tell you what, our next batch of peppers that come out, that's a pepper for a salsa right there.
Oh, yeah. Instead of jalapenos? Wait a minute. Hang on. I think that brine had sugar. Hold on. Go ahead.
Okay, so now I'm going to clean the rim of my jar. The brine might have had sugar in it, but I definitely know that when I was putting the peppers in the jar that some seeds got on there. So just to make sure, nothing from the seeds or anything can get in between there to cause a bad seal. And that's all you got to do.
Those are so pretty.
Now I will stick some lids on there. And just hand. We're not being mechanics, so we don't have to.
It's not a torque wrench.
Like I did the first time when I first started doing this. I'm like, oh, my hand tighten. I'll show you how to hand tighten something. And now we are going to water glass. No, are we water glassing? No, that's eggs. Damn.
That's eggs. You're okay.
Water bathing.
We're gonna water bath
We're gonna water bath these pickled hot banana peppers.
10 minutes.
For 10 minutes. But first we gotta get our water. Oh no, we don't have to get it boiling because it's cold on cold, correct?
Yep, let's have that conversation. Let's go over here and have that conversation.
Okay, so I just forgot that we don't have to have it boiling first because this is cold, so we want to put it in cold, room temperature, not get a bottled water out of the refrigerator and pour it in here. But because these are at room temperature, you just need room temperature water. And then we will set then you get the water boiling.
I'll turn this on for you.
Yeah.
Come on, steam. There we go. The steam function works best to make this water boil as fast as possible. So Greg's done great. He's got an inch of water above the jar. You can see it's not hot because we can touch it, which is what you want. And he was doing a great job of explaining hot, 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 cold, cold, cold. So can you tell them why we do that? Hot, hot, hot liquid, hot canner, hot jars.
So you don't break your jars.
Oh, see? Did you see the look I got?
Well,
Did you see the look I got?
It's not common. I mean, it is common sense, but when you're doing, forgot because we had been.
Yeah, doing hot, and now we're switching. And now we switched.
Now we switched, and it took me. Then I had to remember that you don't.
Well, and it's good because it doesn't matter how long you've been canning. Like I've been canning since I was 6 years old. It doesn't matter how long you've been canning. You always make sure that you've got your reference material, and you constantly remind yourself, make sure you're doing this correctly, make sure you're doing it safely, so that way whenever we put this food on the shelf and get ready to open it later, it is safe to consume. So that's why we keep repeating ourselves most times. It's not only for you to learn, it's for us to remember what we're supposed to do.
So I forget, and I want to. I want to be able to do this without you being here.
I've got that on record.
Yeah. Well, because we have, for instance, tomorrow, if we didn't both have to do the same thing sometime, let me rephrase that. When there's times when we can both be doing two different things, I don't want it to always be that, you have to do this because you're the only one that knows how to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, because I like to do outside stuff too. I don't want to get stuck in the kitchen. You can get stuck in the kitchen sometimes. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Sweet.
But then if, like you had your shoulder was bothering you when I made dinner.
Yeah.
I mean, I make dinner 2 nights a week as it is, but,
And hopefully,
hopefully
you'll see that video before this one comes out.
If you're going to do this, then both parties need to be, in my mind, what they're doing.
Well, and I think, hold on, I'm going to switch. And I think you hit the nail on the head on that. And I think if you're going to do this, especially with a significant other, husband, wife, whatever, you both need to be on the same sheet of music, because this isn't butterflies and rainbows. Like, this is hard work. Not only is it hard work to actually process this stuff, it was hard work to grow that food. And so you really kind of need to be a team and do it together and be on the same page, or it's not going to work. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. We're doing baby steps too. We have a small garden now. The end goal is to not have to go to the grocery store. We're baby stepping our way. That's why you do these challenges to lead yourself up to that.
Yeah.
So that all of a sudden at once you don't go, okay, we're done. Let's go move out to the country and raise pigs and cows and grow our own food. Well, you better know what you're doing a little bit before you start doing it.
Yeah. So we're practicing.
And
we can practice.
We're not practicing. We're incorporating it into our lifestyle.
That's a great way to say it. That's a really good way to say it.
Practicing it is, we're just going to do it, and then next week we're going to go back to going to McDonald's every day. And no, this is incorporated in your lifestyle because this is what you want to do. Yeah. So, I want to learn how to can. I want to know. So then that way I can also go, instead of asking, hey, can we can this or can that? It's like, hey, tonight let's can this. Because now I know that can be done.
Yeah. A key to a girl's heart, y'all. All right. We are going to bring you back when we're pulling jars out of the canner, because that's going to take a minute to come up to temp and boil. So meet you back in a little bit. You can just set that lid in the sink.
Is that it? That just turns it off?
Yeah, it's off.
Ooh, that's a good sign.
Yeah.
Clean water.
Yeah, clean water. Oh, Ryan, move. You're going to get dripped on. Come on. Oh, you went fast.
And there's 3.
They look great.
No discoloration anywhere that shows that it leaked out. Water is very clean.
All right. Oh yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, so there is how I pickle hot banana peppers. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.
Hey y'all, I'm Chris, and this is It Worth It, y'all? And today we are continuing with the Every Bit Counts challenge. And today's Saturday, and so Greg and I had the opportunity to go to a local farmer's market, and we did a little damage. So let me run through what we've bought and the recipes that we're getting ready to can up. So we went ahead and purchased 50 pounds of tomatoes, a half a bushel of jalapenos, half a bushel of green bell peppers, cilantro, and we're gonna start with these onions and then probably supplement with our onions. So if you couldn't tell, we're gonna make salsa. We're also gonna make ketchup, and then we're trying to look at if we're gonna do some chili base or not. Depends on, our priorities are salsa, diced tomatoes, and then ketchup's third, but we really wanna make sure that we're using some of our old stuff first. So this fresh stuff, first and foremost, is gonna be turned into salsa. So here we go. All right, y'all, for this batch of salsa, I had one of these Mrs. Wages packs left. So we're just gonna make the Mrs. Wages salsa, and we're gonna follow directly on the back, and it's tomatoes, this packet, and some vinegar. And so I'm blanching the tomatoes right now to get the skins off. And then there's the tomatoes in the sauce pack and the vinegar. And then we're gonna put the tomatoes that we blanch in an ice bath in here. I'm gonna chop them, and we're gonna fill up that pot full of tomatoes. And this will be our first 5 pints of salsa. All right, we have peeled tomatoes. There's the tomato skins. And that's the tomatoes we're gonna use for this batch. Let me get this batch over here so we can just add to it. And we're gonna chop these up and get them in the spice. All right, we have followed the directions, and we are now to the point to where we have combined the vinegar, the Mrs. Wages salsa mix, and we have added the tomatoes, which have been skinned, cored, and chopped coarsely. I like that size chop, so I think we're gonna go there. We got our next batch of tomatoes being blanched, so we can pull the skins off. So, all right. We're getting there. We're gonna let this cook for about 10 minutes, and then we are going to use the can it instructions and process the jars probably in our electric canner. We're gonna probably use the electric canner today because we're gonna do a lot of little batches. And then, because I don't want to have a water bath canner going for 40 minutes on the stove. And so this is process jars for 40 minutes in a boiling water bath canner. But we can do 25 minutes on the pressure canner, which I would prefer that, so I can keep rocking and rolling on the other recipes while the electric canner is doing its thing, and I don't have to watch it. So I'll put a link in the description below for the electric pressure canner because I love it. Tomatoes for the next couple batches of salsa ready to roll. This has simmered for 10 minutes. I've turned it off for a minute to see if it's going to thicken up at all. I think I want it a little bit thicker than this, so I might add some tomato paste, or we'll just leave it and see how it cans up. But I think it's gonna be okay. I got Greg in here to make sure this is the consistency that he wanted, and he said it was good. So next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna get our jars ready. We're gonna fill our jars up, and we're gonna process this. We have the first batch in, and we're gonna do a water bath steam. I'm gonna go ahead and do this for 40 minutes. And I'm gonna go ahead and use just the pressure canner. Lid's on. Pressure canner for this. It needs to be on venting or exhaust. So we're gonna do this. This pressure canner also water baths. So we're gonna process this for 40 minutes and I'll bring you back when this one's done. Like I said, tomatoes are ready for the next one. I just have to chop the rest of the vegetables. So, and we'll get going on, let me show you the recipe. We are using the fresh vegetable salsa recipe on page 203 out of the Complete Book of Home Preservation by Ball. So we're going to be doing this recipe next. So I've got the tomatoes done. Now I need to do all the onions and green peppers and all that stuff. And as you can see, we have a few. And we have a few tomatoes left still. So we got plenty of opportunity to make a ton of stuff. So this is about an hour later. We're gonna triple the salsa batch. So we have the tomatoes, the jalapenos, pasta, tomato sauce or paste, onions, bell pepper, vinegar, cilantro that I have to chop still, and the garlic. So we are ready to dump everything in the pot and get it simmering. And I'll bring you back whenever it's simmered for a little while so you can kind of see the consistency of it. Oh, and I did drain these tomatoes. They are very watery, so I did take some of the water off before we started this process. Really fit in the pot, y'all. Three batches, or a triple batch. My word. All right, y'all, there we have it. We have our 5 pints of Mrs. Wage's salsa. Now, if they're new to canning, I highly encourage you to go like Tractor Supply, Rook King, Ace Hardware, Walmart has these little packets, and they're very simple to use. All of the instructions are on the packet itself. If you're new to canning, go grab you a pack and do it. I still use them. My favorite one of these is the chili base, and we've got some more of those that I think I might can up, depending on how many we have on the shelf. So there you go. Those are the 5 Mrs. Wages that we did today, and we've got enough to do 15 more when that cooks down. So this is what we're doing today. We're doing salsa today. So, and I'm gonna be busy for the next couple days, obviously. Yeah. So I see some cowgirl candy in our future. And then we can freeze those if we don't use them in the next 2-3 days. So yeah, there we go. I love having this. Oh, 2. Hope you heard that. Anyway, so today is salsa day. We're knocking them out. About 20 minutes in. I've already tasted it. It tastes wonderful. It looks amazing. Oops, I'm fogging you up, sorry. It tastes like summer. So I'm gonna go prep my jars, get ready, start canning. Are getting ready to be washed. Canner is being filled. I want y'all to know a little hack real quick. So I'm right in the middle of jarring up all this salsa that we just made. This recipe is supposed to make 15 pints. So I've got 15 pints here. Now, one of the things that I do, especially like soups, stews, salsa, stuff that's got chunks and liquid, to make sure you have even distribution, what I do is I go in and put 1 scoop in every single jar. See? I put 1 scoop in every single, like that big, healthy, yummy, see that scoop? Like, yeah, that's the scoop we want in there. And I do it all the way around in 1, and then I go back and start again. And then I also want to make sure that on that second scoop, I've got more liquid than chunk. So I want to do half and half. See how that's different than, like, that's healthy. And this is what I want to be my second one. So I'm trying to evenly distribute the liquid and the chunks into all the jars. So whenever you open up the product, it's consistent. Okay? See? So that's just something that I do to try to make my products consistent. So when I open up that last jar of salsa, it's not all water or all tomato juice. Okay, so that's your pro hack for this one. Now I know y'all are gonna be like, Chris, I know you didn't judge that it perfectly made 15 jars. You're correct, it perfectly made 14 jars. So I get and I empty the pot, and then whenever I get down to it, I've got a couple jars left, I take one of the jars that I had filled halfway or 3/4 of the way, and I redistribute. And then I end up with 14 beautiful cans of salsa to put on the shelf. All right, we're gonna can these up, do our regular process, vinegar, lid, ring, process, and let her sit until tomorrow to make sure that every one of these seals. All right, it's beautiful. First batch is out. And this is the recipe from the Ball canning book, the complete guide, 400 recipe. And I think this is called the fresh salsa. Turned out great. I've got the second set in, same water. I had to add some water, so it's got to come back up to boil, and then we'll do 20 minutes again. So we got 5 more left. And I would say that today is a great day of Every Bit Counts challenge. I'm pleased. All right, see you guys on the next one. All right, y'all, this is our 5th project for the first week of the Every Bit Counts challenge. We're going to process the rest of these bell peppers and get them in the refrigerator and into the freezer. And we just wanted to say thank you for hanging out with us this week. So we will see you next week with the next 5 items on our list of the Every Bit Counts challenge. Until then, bye, y'all.